guys. There wasn't much of that to work off, but it's gone. Totally gone.
Whoops. I'm gonna do that. Okay.
Oh,
So
we're
how's-
live.
What's the
How
weather
are you
like
guys
in
doing today?
California? Besides sunny.
I lost audio on Bill.
Lost audio?
No, I got you back. It might have been
Okay.
There
mine.
you go. William, Marty,
Hi, Marty.
John, what's up, guys?
Well, you need hello, Brian. Hello.
Hello, Will.
John at Finders Keepers. Hello. How's everybody doing tonight?
Cynthia, what's up, love?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out. I've never been up on your stream, so I figured I'd stop in, give you a
Well, thanks.
howdy.
Thank you, sir. What's up, Mandy?
Glad to have you up here. Hi, Mandy. So, I guess
How's
asking,
your,
what's the weather like? About 70 degrees down there in California right now?
What's up,
No,
Brian?
man, it's freaking subarctic here.
Subarctic? No, not in California.
Yeah, it's only 52 right now. That is brutal.
Okay,
Oh,
that's subarctic for California. Yeah. My bad idea.
I got up.
John
We're getting
P.
up in the morning. It's in the low 30s.
damn. What's up, John?
I'm in the desert though, so we have real big temperature swings because we don't have a lot of moisture
Right.
and a lot of moisture
Yeah.
that stick. So it is.
What's that?
That's my PA Patriot prospecting sticker.
Ah, cool.
Huh.
My wife would get all pissed off if I put stickers where they were visible. So half of the time my camera looks up there anyway, so she can't see them, doesn't even know they're there. I don't think.
Well, Zaxxon,
Why
I was
would-
able to solve that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you got divorced.
It's called divorce.
yeah. It's cheaper to keep
Why doesn't she like
yeah.
the stickers where they could be seen?
because she's a bitch. I mean, I don't know. I guess they just don't go with
Thanks,
They
Garbage
just
Metal.
they just don't go with the decor or her style or what her, whatever's in her little imaginary mind of what's going on here.
I
Sure.
miss
What's up, Danny?
I would put them there. Don't get me wrong. It would just be a never-ending point of conjecture.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Hi, Danny boy.
Yep.
Oh, Danny
I
boy.
remember that. I remember that from my marriage days. Pick your battles.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I want to win, I win. But something as stupid as a sticker, I'll just not fight that war. I'll save the guns for the other days. Hello, Barnacles. Brian says dead man walking.
Yeah.
It's like, until I got married, I didn't know I had to have matching silverware and plates and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I needed a dinner table.
You guys see all the kids running around me. You want to take a bet on whether or not my plates are silverware matches? There's sometimes we're actually getting there. I need to reload. I'll be making a Walmart list for whatever we need. I'll ask them, what do we need from Walmart? I'll actually go and see if they've thrown away enough spoons and forks this cycle for me to go buy another set of spoons and forks.
I remember that.
I tried buying good ones. I'm like, yeah, now we have a good set. We're moving on up. Bullshit.
Oh no.
I pick up 4 or 5 or 4-pack of them from the $1.25 section and wait for those
Yep.
to vanish.
That's what I used to do.
Go to the thrift store because you can find them in the free boxes a lot of time because they can't sell them, so they just throw that crap in there.
I hadn't tried that. I might.
Well, like you said, you go buy the cheap stuff, and
Oops.
people just won't buy
Well,
silverware at the thrift stores anymore.
For me, it's like they'll sneak something they weren't supposed to eat outside. One of them will. They leave the bowl and the spoon outside. I discover it a week or a month later, and it's like, I'm not going to use that.
Oh yeah.
The bowls definitely. The spoons and things that could be cleaned are questionable.
Yeah.
So
Very nice, John.
Plastic silverware doesn't last. No, Marty, it doesn't. But it's free.
yeah,
That's one thing.
we're actually eating. We're actually eating with plastic forks tonight because our silverware selection is down. I need to go to Walmart and restock. So we ate with plastic forks.
The counter. We got a bin like this big. It's just full of unused, plastic silverware from takeout still in the bag. So
That works.
Oh, thank God I'm not the only one who does that. I got a specific drawer in the kitchen for nothing but plastic. That's the main drawer I go to.
Just start making a spork statue.
Yep.
We can call it Count Sporkula.
Oh, I had a set of sporks one time, but they disappeared. That was when the wife was still alive. It's like, where are my sporks? She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I went, yeah, okay.
Yeah, translation is you don't have them anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I don't know. I think sporks was one of the greatest inventions ever made.
Oh,
You have
yeah,
best
I
of
love
both worlds there. Yep.
Good
The
enough.
ones
for me.
I had were a fork and a spoon at one end and a knife at the other, so it was all in one.
Yep. All in one.
It's all fun and games till you fork yourself in the chest because the chicken's a little too hard that night. I stabbed myself. I told you to get rid of the stupid thing.
Hi, Mary.
It was for your own good.
Oh, hey, Mary.
Mary's in here.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Mary.
Yeah, she's here.
I would like to give Mary a little shout out. She has been rather pleasant the past month or so. I haven't even been able to set her off when I was trying. She's been quite pleasant.
I'll be honest. I was actually starting to get worried with how pleasant she's being.
Jimbo.
Remember that movie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers? I'm beginning to wonder if somebody took our Mary and replaced her with a replica. What's up, Jim?
Never thought about that. Are you the real Mary?
Mm-hmm. I worry.
Because the other day I was razzing her in a stream and she goes, I wasn't picking on you. That's not like Mary.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God! And she just called me Mark. She didn't say Mark the booby hunter. Something is wrong.
Are you tired, Mary?
No, like I said, I haven't even been able to bait her out when I was feeling like trolling her. I was casting that line over and over again a couple of different nights, and she just wasn't biting.
When, John? When are we getting snow? Or just you getting snow?
All right, I'm tired of that shit. People have been trying to convince me that water falls from the sky for years. Yeah, okay, whatever. Frozen water from the sky. Who are you guys kidding? That's got to be a code word.
They give you the weather reports here and go, it's raining. And go, nothing. They go, oh, well, this rain doesn't hit the ground. And they count it as rain. I'm going, yeah, okay. Rain.
I got better for you guys. We went to go see Christmas lights this year about an hour away because there's some neighborhood that does really good Christmas lights, hour and a half away. On the way back, and we wound up sitting in line to go see the lights for about an hour in the car. So with the whole family in the car, that's an interesting time. Yes. On the way back, we were having conversation or whatever, and my oldest, very very smart girl, somehow or another, we got on percentage of rain. So she thinks that if it says our town has a 52% chance of rain, 52% of the town will get rain.
We're quiet.
We're talking a fucking honor roll student here. Straight A's.
Okay. Was she able to narrow it down to what 52% of the town? That's what I need to know, Zach.
Well, I was telling her on that. I'm like, well, does it say what side?
In high school, I was sitting in biology class with my teacher. We were talking. It was in between classes, and this same thing, honor roll student walks in. It's pouring down outside. She goes, what do you think the humidity is out right now? We looked at each other, me and the teacher, going, well, it's at least 100%, but you can get more. And get up to 110%. So, it's freaking raining. It's going to be 100%. Come on,
Yeah. Some of this stuff is ridiculous. But
Yeah,
yeah, she
but
was,
like I said-
she actually believed that, and she argued the point for about 10 minutes of the drive. Even we tried to tell her she's got an iPhone, so we told her to ask Siri because she believes what Siri says. And then once she was realizing that she was possibly wrong in her ways, which she still won't admit, she started trying to manipulate us into other areas of the conversation. You know, but what I meant was, you're wrong to admit it.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen.
Oh, the biggest thing I hate is Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
Because I worked with a guy that Wikipedia is the best in the world. I go, have you ever read the disclaimer at the bottom? Anybody can add stuff to what you're reading, and they don't check it all the time or most of the time. So I go, they can give you a bunch of bullshit that's in there, and you're thinking it's real. He goes, they don't do that. I go, read the disclaimer at the bottom. It asks you if you want to post to this comment, add to it. You know?
Yeah,
Because
it's they only fact check on the more major subjects that they're put on there, but it's kind of one of those, if you tell them something, if you tell them the sky is green and 5 other people tell them the sky is green, we've met the quantity required to validate that the sky is green until X number of people protest that information is incorrect with sources and do all Wikipedia's work for them. Yeah. To where they can amend that and say that no, the sky is actually blue. There was just a leaf in the way.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh man, damn it!
Yeah, Brian, it does. Their mom's worse though. Finders Keeper says one of his neighbors still has his 12-foot skeleton in his yard from Halloween.
But it has a diaper on it. Did you read further, Zach?
Yeah, I saw that.
It's the diaper on its head. He's trying to make it Ahmed. Hi, Jim.
I'd kill you. I love Ahmed.
No, that's like
Ahmed's
for Halloween. Some guy down the street from us had like a 2-story Frankenstein, one of the big blow-up balloons. Big blow-up balloons that stick above or out away from a house around here don't last long because the birds, they like to land on them. So it's like, guy goes out and buys a $500 balloon that lasts 2 days and it gets so punctured it can't be used again.
What's up, Jim? Digging up the Carolinas. How you guys doing?
Any of you guys ever see that video where the neighbor kids kept slashing the one guy's blow up snowman until he had enough?
There was a bunch of those on there, but yeah. I
mean, there's a few of them, neighbors that intentionally fill their pumpkins every year with concrete or whatever, just to tear up the cars that run them over. And, technically, it's illegal because you're setting a booby trap, but I see no problem with it. Keep your ass on your own property.
Right. No, I agree with you, Zach. What you do with it on your property is your business. If somebody takes it off of it, now it's their problem.
I did find out how you could put up a sign. There's a real smart septic guy that's on YouTube, and he likes to explain things. He's septic, bail bonds, real smart guy. He was trying to figure out how to put his signage, his little stab in the ground signs, up and have the city not take them down because it was against code to put them up in the city. Well, as it is in most cities. Well, he figured out the angle come election time. It's illegal to take a political sign down during or whatever. So he ran for some office. He put Johnny Septic, and he ran for some office and put himself on the light ballot or whatever. And so now he could put a stab in the ground signs there. And he just put for office 2024 on the bottom, and he could leave his stab in the ground signs there as long as he wanted.
There we go. That's one way to beat the system.
My grandma Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Back home from where I come from in Northern California, they had a suburb, and they were having guys driving down the street with aluminum baseball bats and knocking the mailboxes down. So one guy went out and put a big, thick steel pole on the ground, filled it with concrete, and waited. Some stupid kids at about 60 miles an hour decided to whack that mailbox. Oh yeah, there's glass all over the place, blood, pieces of skin. All of a sudden it
That would
stopped. No more mailboxes were getting knocked over. So
Yep.
I watched one day. They were at Knott's Berry Farm or something like that, as some maintenance worker walked below one of the crazy rides that you're not supposed to walk under during the riding or whatever. One of the riders kicked him in the head. The ride had such momentum going, the rider never even felt it. Knocked his block clean off.
Ooh.
wow.
That's a true story. But he was going. He was going. The ride was going so fast, the rider never even felt it. Because they were able to figure out when it happened, tracked it down. Never felt it.
Worst thing I ever saw was back in the 70s. I was up in Idaho, some relatives, and they had a motocross race going on one weekend. So we went to see it. This guy went flying off the end of the track on his bike, and he went down this field. What we couldn't see from where we were sitting, there was a barbed wire fence there, but only had strands at the top. Well, they went out, they found the bike and the body, and the head was still in the helmet 20 feet away from it.
Oof.
There's one channel, it's called Fatal Motorsports Accidents. He does really good videos if you're into that sort of thing. They're usually like under 3 minutes long. One of his, and basically it's Fatal Motorsports Accidents, and he shows the accident if there's footage of it or the aftermath or whatever. And his descriptions show an extremely detailed write-up on it. He spends a lot of time on his videos. There was one, this is back in the 70s when everybody was Evel Knievel. It could have been 80s, whatever, all the same to me. This guy was going to drive a Camaro or something like that through a couple of buses at like 80 miles an hour. Through them. No, wasn't jumping over them. He was going through them. All right. And then they show the video and they're showing the setup, and I'm looking the ramp going in the buses. I'm like, bullshit, he's going airborne. And this is before they did any calculations or anything. They're like, yeah, we'll just put a ramp,
Good night, Jamie.
So,
thanks for coming by.
So then you're looking at the buses, and it's like the buses aren't all the same kind of buses. Some are higher, some are lower. So they put the bus with the biggest opening is the first one. And the second bus in line was a little shorter. So this dude comes through, and no surprise, he gets airborne, puts his roof right up into the top of the bus roof because he's inside of it. And he comes along to the second bus, and all the medical people go running towards the car or whatever. It made it all the way through the buses, I believe, all the way through all 4 buses or whatever, but it came out the other end just topless. And all the medical people go running over, and the first guy who gets to the car, he goes running over to help the guy, and he gets to the car, and he's like, you can imagine he looked in that car and he knew there was no chance of survival.
So the car wasn't the only thing topless after that.
Absolutely not. Hey, look, Mary's coming out of her shell.
Yeah, Mary's back. I was just going to tell you that. No, I saw that in person.
Oh,
that
Mary's
wreck?
back. I'm happy.
I worked in a town 24 miles from home, and they had a really bad intersection. Well, I'm sitting there at the stoplight waiting to make a right, because you couldn't make a right turn on this one stoplight. And this flatbed stopped next to me. And I look up in the mirror and I see this Volkswagen convertible just flying up behind this flatbed. And these 2 girls are talking to each other and they're not watching that the light turned red. And I'm thinking, shit, they're not even slowing down. They hit the back of that flatbed at about 60 miles an hour.
Yeah. It happens.
Like, wow. Mm-hmm.
And at those speeds, those DOT bars they put on the bottom of trailers, they do nothing. They just move out of the way.
This was before the DOT bars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How high did the truck?
Machine, hello.
The truck bed was about 4 feet off the ground, flatbed.
No, I mean when they hit, how high did the truck fly?
Oh, the truck didn't even hardly move, man. I mean, it was loaded. It just sat there, and they went under.
Oh no, that's bad. Hello, 717.
Mark the boat.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah,
Thank you. I was worried. Yes, you're back. Okay, I'm happy now. We're better.
Okay, you're our Mary. We know.
We got the correct Mary personality out. It was just number 27. It wasn't its day.
Uh, Zach, you got into mobile mechanic, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I thought about that. What's your take on it? Is it good or not?
I'm doing well.
Are you?
I mean, I'm running odd hours. You know, I could get a call right now and I'll leave. I'm running odd hours and all that. But out where I am, there's no good mobile repair. My shop is like, or my town is like the freaking Twilight Zone. 5 o'clock hits and it's, you know, like a light switch. This whole town is done. Nobody will stay late. Nobody will do anything for you.
Wow.
And you know, I'm giving people the value in that I'm letting them buy their parts on my account
Wow.
at shop price. So
Wow.
so I just quoted out an alternator today. He's actually a buddy of mine, but their walk-in cost for radiator for an 09 Maxima was $339, or not a radiator, alternator. I'm sorry, a 100% new alternator. My shop cost for the same alternator from the same place was $226. You know, the world's expensive enough, and auto repair is expensive enough without getting absolutely gouged for parts. So that's where people are getting the good deal or the good price. You know, mobile repair is not cheap. It's not even remotely cheap.
No.
You know, don't expect somebody who knows what they're doing with all their professional tools to come to your location and be cheap. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
But it's fast and effective, and that's where you can save money is getting your parts at a better price by someone who knows what it's doing.
Also, what's nice about mobile mechanics, just say, for instance, I can't get out somewhere, you guys would come to me.
Oh yeah, it doesn't start. It doesn't start. It doesn't run. You know, if today I made all the money I needed to in 2.5 hours.
Wow.
I did about an hour this morning, and then I did another hour, maybe hour and a half with the running around this afternoon, and I made everything I needed to. The rest of the day was spent doing paperwork, setting things up. I went out and diagnosed my friend's alternator 30 miles away or whatever for free, but it didn't matter. I wasn't doing anything anyway, and he's a friend. I'm going to help him or his sister or whatever. I'm going to help him. If he wants to fix his sister's car, that's fine. I'm going to help him with his sister's car. That's how that one works. But I mean, to be able to work 2.5 hours and make what you did regular or before you had a job, before you quit your 9-to-5 job, it's doing well for me. It's working well. It's going well.
Awesome.
Hours are weird.
Working for somebody else, I made good money as a mobile mechanic. It was just like a tow truck operator. Regular hours, I didn't do that good, but I kept the truck 24/7. So anything after an 8-hour day, it was all mine. So, you know, I'd make in one tow what it took me all day to make.
Exactly. And
Tanya?
I've known plenty of guys who've done that. I'm more than experienced running a business. I've been running businesses for years. It's just I've been running businesses for a percentage of the pay. You know, why if I can do everything and I already know everything and do all the work, why don't I do it for all the pay? It's less convenient, you know. It's always nice standing in a 5-day shop where 3 of them are yours with nobody else messing with, and standing up and working. It's a little harder on the back, but so far it's all working.
I worked for this guy, Tony, and he was a great boss, and he was really good to his customers. And I remember one time I can't remember what I was replacing for a guy, and he's looking at the bill, and he couldn't believe. He goes, I went to a shop, and he goes, this part you're selling me was $107, and you're only charging me $10. I go, it only cost us $650. He goes, what? I go, you're buying from a local shop that's buying from a middleman that's buying from another middleman. I go, we order all our stuff OEM out of LA. So we're paying the factory price.
Yeah, every shop around here runs 50 to 100% markup. If you're at one of your gypsy like tire or lube places, those guys can go like 200. We've seen 300% markup, but that was just ludicrous.
Oh yeah.
You know, they'll take a $30 shock and turn it into a $90 part. That's 300% markup. They're tripling money on that, and that's just brutally not cool.
Oh yeah.
So my freeway traffic is they get good prices on the stuff. Like my yesterday job, New Year's Day, I got a call for a 2020 Hyundai Tucson, radiator blown up. Car only had like 37,000 miles. It's still under Hyundai warranty. I get down there, check it out, tell them what's wrong, and I'm talking to them. They didn't think they had a warranty on it, but they were still warranted. They could have taken that to the dealer, but they decided that the amount of effort it would take for them to go warranty it for the dealer, plus the position they're in on New Year's Day, it was actually cheaper to have me replace it, or in their better interest. Right. So there wasn't a radiator available in our town. I gave them a ride to the next town over. Nothing's free. Don't look at me and think anything's free. That's just not how it is. I gave them a ride to the next town over, picked up the radiator, brought it back, put it in, got them back on the road for a reasonable price. They were plenty happy. We were right next to a car wash, so I was able to wash their car off when I was done. No trace. Everybody's happy.
Nice.
Yeah, the only thing I hated, I worked for a small engine and electrical repair shop one time, and the deal was I get 50% of the bill. Well, after I started, the guy goes, "Oh, well, for the first few months you'll be doing the warranty stuff." Whoa, wait a minute! Warranty only pays 50%. I go, so I'm going to be making half what everybody else does for no. I go, that wasn't the deal. He goes, well, that's just how it works here. I went, you didn't tell me that when I signed on. And I go, and I know warranty work because these idiots will come in after they've taken a 2-stroke, engine, dump dirt in it or just straight gas and expect you to warranty it for them. We can't. So I don't get nothing for my labor. I go, because you're only going to charge them $25 for tear down and I get half of that? No.
And then after the few months of you doing that, they'll come up with some other cockable story not to pay you the full price.
Exactly.
I ran a bad shop. I ran a good shop. I understand how shops work, both ends of the coin.
Yeah. Well, I used to piss the guy. I worked there till I got another job, and somebody would walk in, and this guy walks one day, and he's got a Macallan, had the big clear primer on it, a weed eater. He goes, the thing just stopped on me. I said, you ran straight gas, and I could see clear gas right through the bubble. And he goes, what? I go, did you mix oil with the gas? He goes, no. I said, no warranty. Sorry, pal. My boss is just fuming. He goes, why'd you do that? I said, if I'm going to get screwed, you might as well get screwed.
Yeah. There's plenty of money to be made for everyone. The last shop I came from, he paid well. I can't even remotely say that he didn't pay well. There's plenty of money for everybody to be made in this industry. There's no legitimate reason that some places need to be as bad as they are, or as bad to their employees as they are. A lot of the places in town, there's only one other mechanic at a small shop in town that I know that was making a living wage. Besides me, I made a little better than him. There's only one other mechanic in town I know that was making a living wage. Everyone else in town, there is no possible way they could not survive without doing some side work, some side hustle, having a wife or a girlfriend that's pulling a heavy money too. And I know it seems like a lot of money. 30 to 40,000, high 30s, low 40s was what our local Midas would offer an experienced guy, and brag about paying them high 30s to low 40s. If you got any kids, that puts you in poverty line.
Yep.
Yep. By the time you pay California rent, everything's more expensive out here. I understand that. But by the time you pay California rent and all that stuff, that's, you're talking rent on a 4-bedroom house out here starts at $1,500. If you're making high 30s, low 40s, that's not pay.
All the money you got to invest in your own tools. You're talking $35,000 with tools just to start out to really, be able to do everything. It's like, no, I'm not going to go work for $15 an hour when I put out this kind of money for tools. It ain't going to happen.
That's right, Mike. It is.
Yeah, I mean, I have over $100,000 in tools.
Yeah, like I said, just to start out, it's 35,000. Then you add as you go. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they expect you to go in there and live on nothing when you know they're making ridiculous money. You know, there's no reason I need to go. There's no reason I need to go sleep in a tent while you sleep in a mansion. You know that.
Yeah, and you buy a brand new car every year for cash and a top of the line car, and I'm driving a piece of junk. Yeah, no. Exactly.
No, John, you're right. A good toolbox is like $15,000. I remember those days.
Yeah.
I bought my toolbox. I bought my toolbox 20 years ago, and I've taken care of it. Every drawer works like new. It's a snap-on. So the little, it's got a lock and roll system where you got to put your fingers in, move it to the left to get the drawers open. Those are all plastic, really easy to change, but those have started breaking. But all my drawers open like brand new. It's not scratched up, dented up. I've never cleaned it with anything but ammonia-free Windex, so my paint looks like the day I got it. The ammonia is what ruins your paint on the toolboxes. But yeah, they're absolutely expensive. How's the homeless population in California, KCMD? Yes.
I had all Proto tools. I really like Proto.
Yeah, we couldn't get it. We couldn't get a Proto here. Most of mine are Mac, just because I liked dealing with the guy better. But but there's certain things that are Snap-on, some Cornwell, some Matco. But as I've gotten older, I learned, you know, you have some of these older men are extremely cheap. It's like, fuck, they won part with $1 for nothing. Sometimes you got to part with $1. There's a reason my torque wrench costs $800. You know, you need the quality there. But like a Torx screwdriver set off of the tool truck, that's $200. I can go down to Home Depot and pick one up for $15 that I lose just as easy. And seriously, it's a screwdriver. You're not doing any more torque than you can twist with your hand. If I want to put big power on something, I'll go get my socket set. Then we'll put power on. But for a little itty bitty little torque screw, a screwdriver is all you need. The Home Depot ones work just fine. There are no big laws.
You know, you put out the money for the Snap-on or Mac, and a lot of that's being made in China now.
It is.
Come on, you know.
You pay for the name, and you pay for them. They are better tools, but you pay for the name, and you pay for them showing up and replacing them without you going through ridiculousness to do it. If you don't care, you could go buy Harbor Freight Icons, or, you know, Sears is gone, so Craftsman, you can't do it anymore. They're not as good at tools, but you can carry them right in and they'll change them right out. Same with your O'Reilly, same with any of them. But you buy the big name because they do have fancier tools that do better things, but they break. Everything breaks. I've got a $200 Mac 24-inch half-inch drive ratchet. Absolutely love that thing. Snapped the frick. It's a flex head ratchet. I snapped the flex right off of it. Trying to get that warranted right now.
Yeah.
You pay for the name, and they are better tools. They ratchet better. They work longer. They take better abuse. But if you got something in your hands all day long, you're gonna break it. And with auto repair, you're gonna put things through situations that they're not designed or meant for. That is not a screwdriver. That is a hammer, pry bar, and a chisel too.
Yeah.
Or you lose those damn 8mm and 10mm all the time.
Funniest thing ever had happened. A friend of mine was over. I had some of the hammer screwdrivers laid on top of my toolbox. He had that Chevy 77 Chevy, I think that was first year of the HIE ignition, 100,000 volt. He grabs that drivable screwdriver, which is a metal butt plate on the end, and goes to adjust his distributor. All of a sudden, and I turn around and I go, "You dumb shit, you grabbed a fucking screwdriver, this metal core all the way through. What were you thinking?"
Rob, you remember when comfortable?
Rob,
I'm sicker than
you remember when the spark plug wires were so bad, you would grab so cheap as we made, you would grab the top of the distributor cap to turn it, And if they had any kind of age on them at all,
Or you'd open the hood at night and you see all these sparks flying.
yeah, you just know it's no good. Don't stick your hand in there.
I had a guy pulling one day and he goes, "This thing's missing." I could hear him coming down the street. I opened the hood. I didn't even have to. He had changed his own spark plug wires, but he laid it down in the gully between the manifold and the rocker cover instead of putting it back up in the fingers.
Yeah.
So it just fried it just dried up all the wires. And I mean, a million sparks coming out. I go, yeah, you got a problem here.
Finders keeper. Your buddy has the Snap-on cordless impact. I have the Mac. The Mac impact is made by
just cold.
The Snap-on's made by Makita, I believe. But you can go buy them in a different color plastic, and they're just about as good. Because the reality is they don't break everything loose. Rob, you do not look comfortable.
I just feel like shit.
I would recommend.
I've had a head cold since the day before the stream, since Charlie streamed Saturday night, and then today it went down into my chest, so I now have a head and chest cold.
Oh, sorry, Rob. Feel
Sorry.
better.
It's my every other year January chest cold. So
You want to know what my California told me to do with the cold?
And inhale it.
When I was young, I worked with an older Mexican guy. His cure for absolutely everything was hot food. Oh, you need hot sauce? He'd go for a burrito. The thing would come back so hot. You weren't worried about being cold. You weren't worried about your cold anymore. Or your
Denise made a big vat of chili the other day, so she always makes chili.
Sorry, Diana.
So we had a nice big vat of chili tonight.
I like chili.
You know, I put a short on that I thought was going to go viral for thousands and thousands of views, and it didn't even make 500 views. And I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Title. It's all in the title and the thumbnail.
Hang on. Well, it didn't go well from horizontal to vertical. I think that was the problem. But here, let me show you this.
And later, America.
I thought Denise got this. She got this sent to her on Facebook. I thought this was hilarious. White Ford Bronco out of Maine, and the guy had his tag done personalized, not OJ.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I thought that was the funniest freaking thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Were you still a cop during OJ thing?
It's hilarious.
Rob, were you still a police officer when OJ ran?
What year was that?
92, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you have gladly been in one of those cars behind him for an hour?
I've been in a lot of car chases, but none of them were ever a slow car chase.
I couldn't believe how many.
At one time, I had the department's longest chase, so I was pretty proud of that. It didn't even wreck the cruiser. So
I couldn't believe how many cars they had behind him. Where the hell do you have like 80 cars behind him?
See, they couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
They couldn't do anything that looked bad on TV with the helicopters because he was a celebrity. He's a national football hero, and he was a celebrity.
Yeah, they lost that opportunity.
I'll tell you, and I've had my opinions on that case for 20 years. They framed a guilty guy, and it came back and bit him in the ass.
Yep.
They wanted a conviction so bad that they framed a guilty guy with those stupid gloves that didn't fit. They didn't need those gloves. I mean, to this day, there's been no other suspects, even remotely, that have ever come up for that case.
Oh, I mean, anybody who doesn't think OJ did it is just brain dead. But here's what I don't understand, and I don't understand how it's legal. He got acquitted or dismissed or whatever during his criminal trial. I don't think it's even remotely fair that he should be able to lose a civil trial and take all his money. If you were found not guilty in a criminal trial, I believe that should null and void any option for a civil trial.
You would think so, but here's the problem. On a guilty trial, it's based by a preponderance of beyond any reasonable doubt that the jury convicts you or a judge convicts you. But in a civil trial, It only has to be 51 to 49 that they think. That's all it takes. It takes just 1% over. Could he done it? Could he have not done it? That's all it takes to. And I mean, look at it right now. I'm not going to get into politics tonight, but look at what was the American singing show, the first big one, American Idol.
Something like
Paula
that.
Abdul. Paula Abdul, one of the first judges there, is suing Nigel Lithgow, the guy that was the executive producer and the other judge that sat beside her for 15 years. She's now suing him for 2 counts of sexual assault. 15 years after the show, they've been both off the show. Why? Because California and New York opened up that law, and it's the same thing that Trump got sued for sexual battery. They opened up a law for all these with the what was that movement that went around with all the women that were sexual? Yeah, the Me Too movement. California and New York opened it up where you could sue for 1 year civilly, even if the statute of limitations had expired for the charge that you were accusing somebody of. So she filed that under California's law, even though, and I mean, here it is, 15 years. These two have had a great relationship. You've never heard a word about this guy from anybody else. And out of the blue, 15 years later, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I want any woman ever to be sexually harassed or be sexually assaulted, but when it comes out of the blue, 15 years, and of a guy that's got a sterling reputation, I just.
Yeah.
But yeah, answering your OJ thing, that's how they could do it. You've got a lot of people now that are getting sued. That, I mean, look at that stupid. He got convicted. He got sent to prison. OJ did over that stupid baseball trading card thing where he went in the hotel room with the other 2 guys, and they supposedly robbed the guys of his sports collectibles. The only reason he was prosecuted to the full extent of the law on that is because they couldn't get him for the murder.
Here's something I don't know if you guys know. Because OJ is a Hall of Famer footballer, whatever he is, he gets a retirement from the NFL for $10,000 a month. That's
I would have to. I'm not doubting your word on that, but I've never heard that. I have to research that.
Look it up. That because I was wondering where they all get their money. How do these people get all their money, lose all their mony, and they're still riding the high horse or high compared to what we're riding?
He could go to any sports show. He could go anywhere. OJ, if he's out of jail now, he could go anywhere and sit down at some autograph place, and he could make a shitload of money in one day just selling his autographs at some sports store.
But that devalues.
People walk up, to hand him his card and have his put his autograph. People pay him $100, $200, and he got 20 people made $4,000 for the day. Just go home. It's been a great day.
But that devalues his autograph greatly.
It does. But what's he going to give a crap once he's dead?
Well, then the next hotel he goes into to get his memorabilia back, the autographs aren't worth nearly as much.
That's true.
They probably don't even let him in the sports shows anymore. They're like, we got to frisk you first. None of your friends either. Thank you, Robertson. Those dogs come with pros and cons. Did you get back?
Go ahead, Zach. I was just going to ask Bill, what was he saying about the legends earlier, about people having trouble with the speakers and stuff?
Yeah, a few people had troubles with the speakers and the legend, and they've been fixing it, and got it repaired. It came back, had the same problem later on, which is really strange. Well, the guy's wife, no problem at all. Plus, it was doing weird stuff at the beach. It was like EMI interference when there's nothing around to give it any, and hers wasn't. So I'm just wondered. I hadn't thought about this till now. Years ago, when I was doing computer stuff, you would find people that could not use a computer because it would short out. You're talking 12 computers running 12 volt DC, basically. And static electricity, anything 12 volts or less, it can easily. And some people have a lot of static in their system. We had this one woman at work. She'd be at the keyboard, and every month and a half, we'd have to fix her computer because it would get fried. And it was her, not the machine. So
I've heard about that.
I wonder. Thank you. Yeah.
So the lady can kill electronic machines with her static electricity charge.
He'd just be cool. Hey, Zach, Finders Keepers wants to know what state you're in.
I'm in the Southern California in the Mojave Desert. See, it's real easy. It's real easy to remember this. The guys on the bottom of the screen think 50 is cold. The guys on the top of the screen break out shorts and metal detectors at 50.
That's about the size of it. Yep.
Yeah, it was in the 70s here today, and I'm freezing my ass off. Of course, I'm also sick. So.
It's 52. I'm wearing a jacket in my house. Subarctic.
Geez, Rob, if you were here right now, you'd be sitting on top of the heater. Not in front of it, on top of it.
Bill, if I was where you are right now, I would be selling everything I own for a plane or a bus ticket.
Hi, Jim. MD Melbourne Jim's here. Hi, Jim. I'm sick, Jim. I got a chest and head cold right now, Jim, and I got the chills.
I've tried that, Robertson. We played music one night and left while we tried to go to fireworks shows because I also did gun trainer, so she's fireworks scared too. We played. I left the TV going and our regular music going on average volumes. When I came home, she had chewed the cords off of the music and the TV.
Wow.
Jackson, if I could find a place back in California that I could afford, I'd be out of here, believe me.
Yeah.
I keep inviting all you northern people down here. Grandma Kay watched my beach video yesterday on Monday Diggins and said, I can't wait to come down and metal detect on a beautiful beach like that. And I'm like, come on down. Every one of you good folks, just come on down.
Rob will even make it out there sick if he has to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I liked your little chair setup you had in the last video.
My what?
The chair. You set up the brake chair.
That brake chair helps. When I helped with Denise K, she actually pulled a little plastic wagon out with the flat wheels, and she's got 2 of those captain's chairs, her cooler, a little light we can hang up, and she makes a little campsite, and we can. And nobody, we're there at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. Nobody bothers. And we can walk up and down the beach, take breaks whenever we want. And it makes it really helpful to be able to take a break with my hips. So,
yeah. Dennis, hello. Dennis says he'll be there tomorrow, Rob.
Dennis has hunted that beach before. He knows how beautiful it is.
I believe Scott McCleary has a question for you, Rob.
Nice, Scott.
Hang on, let me scroll down.
It is what it is.
Mystic's right. Mystic's right. It's cold here. It's going to go down to 45 tonight. That's effing freezing for us people.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. I'd be out in the
It is
t-shirt.
Jim in Australia right now. This is midsummer in Australia. So he says it's 80 degrees with about 1,000 pet centimeters. Jim, I would take that so bad right now. In Canada, it's cold when it hits minus 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Screw that shit, Mike. I ain't going to be anywhere near around there.
I ain't even trying to be around 31 degrees Fahrenheit, let alone a little in front of it.
Denise goes, just put your jacket on. I go, no, I'll look sicker if I have my whoopee on.
You do. It does look sicker, Rob. And then you got your hair lighting just right to where the pure white.
I need a haircut. I need a haircut so bad, but the girl across the street that cuts my hair, she's had the flu for the last week, so I haven't been able to have her come over and cut my hair.
Rob reminds me of this old movie actor, and I can't think of the guy's name, but I'll think of it. Come up with it. He used to.
I'm scared now, bro. I'm scared now.
But did a lot like
when I had my tight beard, I said I looked like Anthony Zerb. Of course, a lot of the young people didn't know who Anthony Zerb was. Then I showed a picture, and they went, "Nah, you look nothing like him." And I was like, "Well."
Now this guy remind me of this guy with basically what is that, a towel or a robe you got wrapped around you?
It's a blanket. It's like a
It's a whoopee. It's a whoopee.
this guy, and I think it was A Wonderful Life. He's sitting there talking to Jimmy Stewart. He's got the same thing on. You look just like him. It's like, I can't think of his name.
Scott, I'm in the deserts of California. It's absolutely freezing for us. Friday will be my coldest day this week. 29 is the low, 56 is the high.
29's low.
56.
I'll
Oh
give
no,
you that.
actually Sunday, 27 and 50.
Yeah, that's low.
So Troy went out today, Bill, on January 2nd, and he's already got a Merc and a 1 ounce round sterling silver collectible that I may wind up be doing a video, an entire video on, because it's such an. I don't want to show it, but it was.
Hey, Rob, do me a favor. Next time you see Troy, tell Troy I said hi, you slob.
Oh, that's the first thing I called him, Bill. I said the slob is already added on January 2nd.
I got a better idea for you, Rob, and this one actually works. Next time you go somewhere with him, drop an air tag in his truck, and you can figure out what magical field he's going to get all these coins that you can know.
He doesn't. He just has curb strips and houses within a 5 mile block of his 5 mile radius of his house. Zach. Dalton's the one that gets us all the field. Troy gets all the residential silver.
Any of you guys just see that?
Yep, you spilled something.
No, the fucking dog threw its toy at me and knocked my coffee over.
Yep, the joys of having a big dog.
Well, that's exactly it. Because the weight or nothing doesn't matter. She's pretty good at aiming it. She'll hit you with the damn thing. If you're just sitting there ignoring her, like, hit you with it.
Jim says,
I guess the coffee cup got in the way, Zach.
And I swear you could poach age in a plastic bag. You know, Jim, I know in August I'll be bitching about how hot it is, but right now I would take that right now in a heartbeat. I just do not like the cold weather.
Intruder.
He said, I just wanted to play, Dad.
No, now then it wanted to chew it into little tiny pieces, and I'd rather it doesn't kill it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dog will hit you. If you ignore her long enough, she'll hit you with it. Hello, John Bob.
John Bob.
John Bob Millwright. Good evening.
Hey, Freddie.
What about you, Mark? Have you been getting out?
It has been maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I'm hoping for this Thursday because I'm off, but it's not looking like it. Nope. And this weekend I got to work, so it won't be this weekend at all.
Hello, Tom Kingery.
Hey, Tom.
Tom, how you doing?
Excuse me. All right, John. Good night.
Oh.
Good night, John.
Good night, Cynthia. Sweet dreams.
Good night, Cynthia.
Yeah,
Hey, Jim Duncan.
I don't have a problem with them. They're just hairy. I'd like a Malinois too, but I know I couldn't work it enough. Actually, I've been looking at other dogs to get. If I get a Doberman again, I got to get 2 of them because I think that's part of the separation anxiety. Is the dogs always need partners in crime. But I like almost everything about a Rottweiler except the slobber, and I guess certain ones of them, when they're happy or whatever, they growl at you. And I am not okay with the dog growling at me. You know, I see different videos of some of these Rotts, and when they're happy and you're petting them or whatever, going nuts. If my dog growled at me like that, we'd be eating dog for dinner.
Oh, I love my Dobermans. We've had 5 of them, and I wish I could talk Denise into getting one, but
If it didn't have the separation anxiety, this would be the best dog on the planet. But what I've noticed from a lot of people I talk to is you can almost never have a single Doberman. They have to have a companion. And
my female was very good. She didn't have anxiety, but then again, I had a free apartment because I did security for the apartment complex, and I worked in that zone, so I was able to stop by while I was working at the police department. I could stop by for lunch or 15-minute break, and I could let her out. And if I got caught up on a big accident or a big investigation where I was in a hospital for hours or whatever, I could just call my partner, who was the other security guy there, and say, "Hey, Rob, just use your master key and pop in and let Velvet out." And he would just pop in and yell to her, and she'd come out and do her thing and go back in the house. So she was never really alone that much. So
this one will do. She gets anxious whenever we leave, but she'll be fine for 3 or 4 months at a time. And then one day you'll leave and you'll magically come back and she'll have knocked the door closed and trapped herself in a room and destroyed something.
Yeah. How does she do with fireworks?
Horrible.
Yeah. My Doberman was scared to death of fireworks.
Yeah, like I say, the next one I get, I'm gonna take it out and gun train it, get it to be not afraid of those at all, and hope that helps. But everybody around here, they just ran.
Look at that! I can see Shane here.
Hey, Dave and Lori.
Shane. Hello, DNL.
Hi, Dave and Laurie. Oh, by the way, everybody, happy birthday, Shane.
No,
Is it Shane's birthday today?
Hey, Shane, happy birthday.
Man, that dude looks good for 70. I tell you what.
70? I thought he was 80. Damn.
Actually, I thought he was 12.
Right as he types, thank you. Everybody jumps off the bus.
Hey, Dee, do we have any pictures of Velvet on the wall?
Marty, you don't want to see any of my interior doors. They're horrible. You can barely see it on my front door there, but about 6 inches below the knob, right there on the drywall, because I never trimmed it out after I replaced the door. How a little bit of the red disappears right about there.
Oh yeah, I can see the extra white right there. Yep, I can see the extra white.
Yeah, there's a little bit of drywall damage there now. And that one, I wasn't even gone. I was on my ladder on the side of my house painting my trim with my son. And for whatever reason, I got pissed off and did that. Wasn't even gone.
I got 2 cats that do that. We got paint missing off every door in the house.
That's the one thing.
We got a glass.
They don't chew anything. They scratch, but they don't chew anything. What's your dog's name, Zach?
Oda.
Oda?
ODA. Oda.
Oh, Jim's so close, buddy.
We got a glass door under the patio, and one day I'm sitting out there having a cigar, and this one cat's over there doing this. It's a glass door, so I walked over and I go back to him, and he's like, "Huh?" Hasn't done it since. So.
Yeah, well, we got a cat around here. It took me about 3 weeks to get the dog not to kill it. And so we got a cat around here, but there's so many of the kids that they basically kidnap it every time they see it. You know, somebody grabs it and snatches it, so it really doesn't like us. We only feed it. I don't know where it is right now, but during the day it goes outside. But since it's absolutely Arctic outside, she sits right on top of my computer desk and looks out my window for the neighbor cats walking through the yard. But yeah, I still got probably 5 more years with this dog, but I was thinking about what the next breed is. And I'm hello, Fraser. I'm kind of on the fence of whether I get the next puppy while I still have this one to train it some, or am I worried that it's going to instill the bad habits and the anxiety?
Good point.
So I think whatever I'm getting something fatter and lazier. Hello, Outlaw. Or if I do get Dobermans, it'll be a pair.
Hi, Outlaw. How you doing?
Well, guys, I'm going to take off. I got to get up and go to work tomorrow.
All right, Mark.
Mark, that's a dirty word, Mark.
I know.
Have a good day at work, Mark. And thanks
Yeah,
for coming up, brother.
No problem. That and I really got to take a shit. So I'll see you guys later.
look at what's. I mean, that was funnier than shit, Mark. But look at what Scott McClure put. Pin that one, Bill.
Thank you. I gotta grab some coffee.
I don't look that bad, Scott.
Yeah, you do, Ron.
Ohio likes that one. Outlaw Rob's a little sick for a week. He's getting better as we speak.
I hope so.
Melbourne, my problem is I don't believe in outside dogs. I see absolutely no value in having something that you leave in the backyard, feed, and clean up after. I believe in working dogs that have a purpose. Every animal I have has a purpose. And having a working dog does me no good for my family when it's out back on a chain while something bad's happening in here while I'm gone and it needs to do that, or even in the middle of the night when I need the dog to wake me up for something that matters.
Look what Shane wrote.
I already saw it. He's a slob too.
Yeah, Cane Corsos, they're big. I don't know. I just want something a little lower energy. The good thing is Grandma Keller. The good thing is I got kids, so I throw one on a skateboard or throw them on their little bikes or whatever, and they can take her out for a mile or two walk, and their tires are down a little bit. But it's a Doberman, so 20 minutes later it'll do it again, no problem.
Yeah, I don't let my cats out because they always bring presents home. Dead rabbits, rats, snakes.
See, at least yours kills it. Mine likes to bring home live birds, and it presents them to my oldest daughter, and then I have to go catch a live bird or lizard or whatever it caught from the room that's half injured, and it's going to die, but you just put it outside and hope anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options.
I used to have one that would bring it up to the patio door and the rats and play with them for a while before he'd kill them. Then he'd want to bring it in the house. Like, no, you're not bringing that in.
Yeah. Mine's only really live birds and the occasional lizard, but mostly my live birds.
I had, actually the one behind me asleep on the bed here. This guy was great. We called it a green belt. It was this guy's backyard that stretched between two streets, and in like 30 years, he never cut anything down. So we would get skunks, raccoons, and Lisa the cat was smart enough to leave the skunks alone. But this guy took on like a whole family of raccoons, and the male raccoon was twice his size, and they were scared shitless of him. So they never came back around because raccoons are nasty.
By the way, Bill, congrats on your Wheaties and your buffalo there and your location.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was nice. Still have not found a buff with a date on it yet, though. Someday I will.
Marty, we had them all. My dad would bring home some crazy stuff: snakes, tarantulas, kangaroo rats. The macaw was his favorite. We grew up with Dobermans. the macaw was his absolute favorite. We had a macaw when I was young, and the only pet I ever saw him get rid of when we had it, or actively get rid of because he hated it, was a goose. He brought home a goose one day, and we kept that thing around for about a week. That thing had to go. I don't know if any of you have ever been around a goose, but they get mean.
Oh yeah, they're better guard dogs than most guard dogs.
They are. They're territorial as you can imagine.
Yeah. I had a friend that had German shepherds, and people were always afraid of them. But I go, you don't got to worry about the dogs. Watch the geese coming around behind you. They'll nail you.
I did a short yesterday or 2 days ago where Dalton found a 1913 Wheatie next to a curb strip. And the guy left me a comment saying that's the fakest video I've ever seen.
Embrace them, man. I think the
Like,
trolls.
you can't find 110-year-old coins on grass next to a curb. And I'm like, and then another person who I didn't even know left. He goes, we find stuff like that in our parks all the time. And I'm like, dude, you obviously know nothing about metal detecting.
And they probably don't. All right, Robinson, let's hear your snowman joke.
All right, let's see. What's the difference between snowman and snowman? It's going to be something to do with balls. Snowballs. Yes, that's something to do with balls. What's the difference between snowman and snow women?
I got in a big old troll fight with people. I did one of my stupid car shorts about why you can't use JB Weld on a fuel tank, and all the internet toothless experts wanted to enlighten me about their supreme knowledge on using JB Weld on fuel tanks. Look, I do this for a living. You think I haven't tried using JB Weld on a fuel tank? I have multiple times. It doesn't work. I've seen
it worked for me.
In the short term, it will stop in the short term, but standard JB Weld will not hold up to the fuel vapors. You have to get the JB Weld that's made for fuel tank repair. And they were arguing with me up one wall.
The car that I got in the accident with up in Alabama was I bought Denise's dad's Mitsubishi Eclipse. Man, I love that car. That car ran like a Swiss watch. Well, the fuel tank, if you I don't know if you ever worked on them, this fuel tank's underneath the back seat, and I started smelling gas. And I took it to my mechanic, and he called me up and he says, come here, take a look at it. And he says, you got a little teeny hairline crack at the plastic tank right where the pump goes. And he goes, you got to repair it. You got to take the whole tank out. You're looking at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. He goes, or you can just JB Weld it. And he said it should hold you for quite a while. Well, I don't know how long it'd been on there until I got in the car accident that totaled the car. But in the time I had it, I never had another problem with it. So it did work for me. But it was.
Did you use the fuel tank JB Weld though? There's different JB Welds.
No, they do have a fuel tank JB Weld. I probably just had the regular black and gray that you mix up.
They do, but out here with the alcohol and the gas and all that, it lasts about 3 months, and the gas destroys the JB Weld. And I had them arguing with me to no end. I just got a message the other day from one of the guys that was arguing with me, and I put the video up 3, 4, 5 months ago. And he sent me a message back. He says, you were right. He says, I did JB Weld my fuel tank. It lasted 3 months. I said, yeah, I know I'm right. I've tried it. I've seen a lot of people try it.
Hi, Karen.
Hello, Paintbrush.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah,
Especially
looks
since
like
I had someone accuse me of faking a virus.
You try to tell people certain things you don't want to do, and they go, well, I got to do it this way because I can't afford to do it right. Well, it's not going to work. It's not going to last. You're just going to be right back to ground zero in a couple of weeks. And they don't listen. That's what.
Howdy, Swifty. Howdy, Miss Karen.
Oh, it's a Swifty
I
raid.
dispatched.
Yeah, they don't
Swifty.
understand, and I just use it now until I refuse the job. If that's how you want to fix it, I refuse the job. You go fix it. Because we also have to keep check engine lights off out here. We can't have the standard issue evac leak that a lot of people are running around with the check engine light on for. We can't have those. we every 2 years we have to get them off and keep them off long enough to get them through smog. So that's where we're at with that stuff. It doesn't work.
Well, it's like years ago, I was in a wrecking yard, and this guy came in, and he'd never been a wrecking yard. He goes, I got to get some CV joints for a Subaru. I said, you don't want used CV joints. Go buy new ones. I go, they're going to charge you half the price of a new one here. I go, you're going to get a couple weeks out of it if you're lucky, and it's going to blow. He goes, no, it'll work. I'm going, no. Most CV joints are zero tolerance. You get some wear, and you got two different parts, different cars. 2 weeks later, here's the same guy back.
I learned real quick about putting new parts in when we won't mention any names here. Somebody did that to my truck that didn't tell me.
Yeah. It's
Well, the same goes with internet parts now. Nowadays, you can get online and you can find a part that looks perfect. It usually will work when you install it, and you wonder why it's bad 3 months later. Oh, I mean, it did cost you a quarter of what a good one would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a guy pull in this Pontiac one time, 400 small block, and he'd installed it was a 2-1 exhaust system. I can't remember what happened to the original Y off the manifold, but he bought this one at a real cheap, mom and pop auto parts store. And he goes, I can hear it leaking. He goes, I can't get it to seal. So I get into there and I see 8 different part numbers stamped on this freaking tube. I go, go get the right one. He goes, what do you mean? I go, the reason it's got 8 different part numbers, they made it to where it would fit 8 different models of engine, but none of them it will fit right. I go, what'd you pay for it? He goes, well, this was 82. The one exactly for it was 200 and something. I go, that's the difference. You buy the $200 one, it bolts into place correctly.
Yeah, I do. I deal with it all day long. Quality matters.
Yeah.
Paying for it right the first time that matters, especially with the repair costs on the new cars.
I was replacing a starter for I can't even remember. I think it was a Mustang too. But anyways, they put this box down on the counter, and I opened it up, and it was a rebuilt. It's all the girl could afford. I go, is this the only one you got in stock? You go, yeah, why? I go, well, I'm looking for a 2-eared starter, and this was a 3 with it one ear ground off. Well, that's what the shims are for. There's like a stack of shims in there. That thick. He goes, it'll work. I go, no, I don't want some jury of junk to put in somebody's car that I'm repairing. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, you probably remember the days when you used to have to rebuild a water pump.
Oh yeah, fuel pumps too. I've rebuilt fuel pumps.
I have never rebuilt a water pump, but I've heard from some of the old guys that are like, crap, you just hope it doesn't leak when it's done.
Exactly. Well, that's like when they first came out with the dual on the Masters, and they'd sell kits to rebuild them. We're all going, how the heck, you can't hand bore that to where it's going to be perfect. And sure as crap, you'd rebuild it and they just wouldn't hold. But fuel pumps, you could go down and for $2 buy a kit to rebuild your fuel pump, because you unscrew and put in a new rubber, put it back together, and away you went.
And you did it again in 3 months.
I mean, I can go as far back as I've seen. I've never done it. They had rebuildable spark plugs. So your Model T plugs, you can take apart and rebuild them. So
never heard of that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you look it up. They had rebuildable spark plugs, but I never did it. But I'd seen them. So.
Rebuildable spark plugs?
Yeah.
Yep. What happened? They burn out on the inside, and you could just take the thing apart, replace that main stem, and be good to go.
He's talking about like back in Model T years.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, occasionally I'm a big fan of new cars. The newer the better, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you get a quality one.
Yeah. No, they quit making the cars. Some of the cars from the 30s and 40s were really good cars. After that, they kind of went all to crap. Because, I mean,
It's all
The
in
old,
what you it's all in what you want and what you want to deal with. A lot of people say they don't build them like they used to. Well, we're glad we don't. They don't. You don't have to retune them every 6 months. Most of your new cars, unless there's a manufacturing flaw, you're not going to do anything to it for 100,000 miles. Somebody calls me with a car problem on something with less than 100,000 miles. I know it's ridiculous.
good night, Deej. Oh yeah, I mean, you think about it. You lucky to get 70,000 miles out of most old cars. Lucky, and then even then you rebuild the motor.
70,000. It was worn out, and now we got people driving out a year.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons. I like not working on my car all the time. I like having a computer to tell me what direction to look for the problem on my car.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on your level of computers, you can diagnose some of this stuff.
Right now. No, I agree with you. The newer cars, man, compared to what they were, especially the stuff from the 70s, they put out some real junk in the 70s.
Oh, the 80s.
It was a hell of a lot easier to work
And
on.
the 80s.
The 80s were worse.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's true.
There wasn't no good car made in the 80s. The only ones you thought were any good you were just mistaken. I mean, you look at your American car. You look at your American cars from the 80s. What were your decent cars? None of them. What were the desirable ones? Basically, the only ones that are any desirable left are the Grand National GNX and the Fox Body Mustang. And
no, the only good cars from the 80s were the Japanese cars. I mean,
but the 5.0 was a decent engine. You couldn't go fast in it for very long, but the 5.0 was a decent engine. In the 80s and 90s, the reason most of your police cars were Caprice Classics, mid 80s to Caprice Classics, mid 80s to 1994. The reason most of your police cars were Caprice Classics was because in police testing, the Ford was better at turning, the Ford was better at stopping, the Ford had better acceleration. But in the pursuit scenario where you got your foot in it, you got it wound out, and you're going to keep it there, the Ford 5.0s would let go, and the Chevy small block 350 wouldn't let go. You could wind it up and keep it there. That's why most of them were Caprice Classics. In about 1994, I could be off a year or two. In about 1994, when Ford came out with the modular 4.6 engine that they put in the Crown Vics, all your Caprice Classics went away. Thankfully, they all went away because the Ford 4.6 was the first engine that Ford could come up with that you could be in a pursuit scenario, wound out to its max, and keep it there, and it wouldn't come apart in pieces. The 5.0 would come apart. The Chevy small block would not.
Oh, yeah.
Expressions comment, they used Chryslers exclusively for police cars back then. When I first became a police officer, everything was Chrysler. It was the four-door Dodge Diplomats.
Oh, but those ran good though.
And then they went to the Ford sedans, and then we went to the Chevy Caprice, and then they went back to the Ford, and then they went back to the Fords. Now
we used to say back in the 60s and 70s.
Almost everything is SUVs now.
Yeah. If you want a good pickup, you'd get a Ford pickup and put a Chevy motor in it. If you wanted a good pickup.
They were pretty good, but that's why Ford didn't rule the police market late 80s to early 90s was their 5.0s wouldn't stay together.
Oh. Yeah. Now that you mentioned, I remember we were sitting at a gas station one afternoon, and this local cop, which nobody liked, he pulled up in his Ford with a 5.0, and he's talking about how great it was. And this guy blew through a red light at about 100 miles an hour in his Ford pickup. So he jumps on it, just barely hit through the intersection, and that cop car died. We had to push him back into the parking lot.
Yeah. Backwrecking brings up the old Ford Bronco 300 inline six. Couldn't kill that motor. No, you can't. Name a bad straight six engine. Any maker. I don't care. You go Nissan, Chevy, Ford, Dodge. Name a bad straight
Jeep.
six engine. There wasn't one. No
Nope.
straight six engine was ever a piece of junk. Ford ran the straight six all way up into the 2000s. I don't know when they ran that 300 straight six.
Oh, yeah.
Originally got it from Chevy, and they ran that thing for like 60 years. And
Yep.
the straight sixes are just good engines. They ain't got no power. You're not outrunning anybody in a hurry, but you've got no power all day long. You can neglect it. You can beat on it. You can run it out of oil. They just keep going.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. When I was a kid, my dad had a 1940 Chevy business coupe with a 216. It's called a Babbitt pounder. You didn't have insert bearings. They had poured Babbitt in the rods. So once in a while, you'd have to get down there and tighten the rods up a little bit if it started making a little bit of noise. But he had that thing for 40 years. And other
Just
than
get down there
changing
and
the
tighten the
oil,
rods every now and then. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
all you
don't
do.
move them like they used to.
but that thing he had it for over 40 years. And the only reason he sold it is my mom hated the car. But other than change the oil, tighten the rods up once in a blue moon, and put new spark plugs and a set of points in it, it ran and ran and ran.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite off-road truck has a straight six in it right now. Ain't got no power. I ever die for going fast, it won't be in that. But I can put it at 4,500 and hold it there all day long. It don't care.
All day. Yeah.
You know, I'm more worried
Oh, yeah.
than the engine is. But no straight six ever got a reputation as a bad engine. The Toyota Supra,
No.
which is arguably one of the most modifiable straight sixes you can get. You're talking 1,000 wheel horsepower out of those things or more.
Oh, wait a minute.
Is a straight six.
Toyota. Early 70s Toyota SR22 motor. They had a 4-cylinder and a 6-cylinder.
Hi, Deej.
Problem,
Hi, William.
they had they were overhead cam. They had this 3-width chain link drive for the cam. The freaking thing would throw that timing belt, that timing chain all the time. It's the only bad one I ever knew of.
Well, you
couldn't keep
those were bad designs on it, and usually they came out with a modification to fix it. It's just like the Ford 300 straight six. I don't know what year they did it. I think it was mid 80s. They switched from metal timing gears to fiber timing gears. So you'd be cruising down the road. You'd be cruising down the road in your bulletproof Ford 300, and it would chew all the timing gears off.
Yep, I remember that.
The
Yamaha motorcycles, they had a rotary valve, not engine. It was a piston engine, but the timing and port for the 2-stroke was a rotary valve. Well, when they were metal, they were fine. When they switched to a fiberglass one, it'd blow up on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of their designs, they only screwed them up from screwing with them. Look at the Chevy small block. That started in what, 54, 56, maybe 55? They ran that thing till 2004. The only reason they ever ruined it was they changed it to the Vortec oil system, which it's a priority oil system. 1996 Chevy trucks went to
they did screw it up when they came out with the 307. When they took the 327 and put a 283 crank in it, that was a pile of junk.
I never even heard of that.
Oh yeah, you look at some of your mid to late 70s. They had a 307 V8. It was a big piece of junk.
Well, William, let us know. Let us know what you are, and we'll move on to that subject. I know a little bit about most things. I don't detect. I'm not a metal detectorist. I don't have the time. Yeah, they've done crappy modifications to everything that ultimately killed them. Jeep killed the straight six. There's nobody you can get a straight six from anymore.
Hi, Johnny.
Ford was the last one, I think. It was either Ford or Jeep, but I'm pretty sure it was Ford. They were hard to get. I'm pretty sure it was Ford. Unless you're diesel, you'd still get them in diesels. Expressions in the early 2000s, we were running a Camaro, and with a 350, and what we were running was actually a Pontiac small block, a 409 or a 509 block, a 400 small block 509 block, where it had the same freeze plugs. The only way you could tell, you had to be super experienced and could tell the difference by looking at the balancer. There was one guy that we ran against that knew and understood what we had was a 400 with an internally balanced crank. As soon as he looked at the car, he says, "Oh, that's why you guys are running a 400, which is a 6.6 displacement instead of a 5.7." And he was the only one that knew we were running a whole lot more displacement than we let on. He stopped helping us when he was the next car in line to get beat. Everybody else, we just walked him down as we could afford it.
Hi, Greg. How you doing?
Hi, Driver. How you doing?
Hello, AU.
Yes, Miss Deej. That's actually Zeus in the background. He's much louder than Tina. Come here, buddy. Yeah, he's the crier. Oh, I think he went outside. Gonna freeze his ass off out there. Here he comes. Come here, buddy. Miss Deej wants to see you. Come here. Come here.
The LT series are good engines, finders, keepers. They're technically LTs. Everybody calls them LSs, but they're LTs. LSs were only in Corvettes and Caprices. But
Come here. Hey.
William, do I see repair prices staying high through 2024? No, I see repair prices going up.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to come down.
Come here.
Our parts are going up. Our operating costs are going up. That means cost of the customer goes up. You guys don't even auto repair where I'm at in the shops is 125 working basement to like 185 dealer an hour. So you're talking if you work at McDonald's or something like that, even with our exorbitant minimum wage we're paying, you might be able to afford an hour and a half worth of work at a good shop for working a day at McDonald's.
If you're lucky. Yeah.
If you're lucky. And that doesn't include parts. Yeah, keepers, we did the same thing. I mean, younger, and that's what we were into. I have no desire to go fast anymore. Yeah, Jim Steele. Jim Steele's got it right.
You're right. Yep. You're right.
Yeah, I don't go fast anymore. I go off road and take my time, and it saves me a ridiculous amount of money.
Oh yeah. The cost of hot rod a car these days is freaking ridiculous.
Well, I got one shop that I talked to. You know, they're friends of mine. He's still into going fast, like really fast, and they're running like 3,000 horsepower big blower cars in the 8th mile. And I walked in there. He had one of his Hemis tore down one day, and I got to talking with him about it. He was rebuilding, and I'm like, "Yeah, you don't want to ruin a $20,000 engine." He says, "20? That's $80,000 in the engine. That's ridiculous." And he was talking. We were talking a little more. He gets about 20 8th mile runs out of his engines, and he doesn't pre-warm them before he races. They fix them, they warm them up in line to hit the track. But he gets about 20 runs out of his engines before he does a $5,000 rebuild on them.
See, that's just ridiculous.
Later,
Unless
Outdoors.
unless you got more money than God.
And for probably if he wins a person that doesn't even come close to paying for it.
It's the love of the hobby, because I was talking to him one time.
Yeah.
He's like, I've never even won either. He says, I've been second.
Oh, Jesus. He's
don't
never
know.
won. And he puts,
That was like
Ouch.
5 years ago. He was talking
Ouch.
the big boy class, because what he likes to run is unlimited horsepower. He likes to run in the tire classes. So it doesn't matter what they're running for power, but he's got to get it down the road on an 8-inch street tire. All the power you want. Yeah, Deej, it's all about where you go, what they install, and whether or not they like you.
and it's like I used to ride motorcycles and race them a lot. And I bought a 62 Triumph 650 TR6, which was the last of what they call the per unit. The transmission was separate from the motor.
Yeah.
What I didn't know is the rules for road racing had changed for motorcycles that year. So to call it, when they said a stock racer, the bike you rode could not be changed. Well, neck rake on most Triumphs was 15 degrees. It was absolute zero on this thing, and I didn't know that. So I could turn on a dime. So I go flying through this turn right after I bought it, damn near killed myself going, what the, what's going on here? Then I read up on it. Went, oh, instead of having a neck rake like this, it was straight up and down. So, I mean, it was just like instant turn when you lean a little bit. It's like,
Yeah.
I changed that.
Yeah, it's all.
You're not going to believe this.
Come here.
Rob, you do many things that we don't believe. If Denise backs you up, then we believe it, but. Minders keepers. Yeah, Deej, it's all where you go and what you have done.
Some places are highway rob. That's true with anything, not just auto shops, Deej. A lot of
Yeah.
places are just highway robbers now.
But they're not to justify the people who quite frankly do overcharge, but there's a lot of unforeseen costs in the industry that standard people don't understand. The
Oh.
tools, time, training, learning, insurances, garage keepers insurances. There's
Yeah,
a
the
lot.
insurance
There's
is
a
a
lot
huge
that's
factor.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes that the customers don't always see. They just see that, oh,
I mean,
you're 150 an hour, and they're not happy about that. Well, do you know they charge me $1,000 a year just because of oil?
what do you got to carry a minimum of $2 million insurance now?
You're not required to have any.
What?
California, there's no law requiring you to have insurance, but it's strongly recommended.
Oh, really?
Yep. No liability insurance required.
That I
You got to have
know.
insurance on your car.
Yeah.
You're required by law to have insurance on your car. That's why the prices are so high there. They're raking the shit out of us on that. But I was, I just started this business. I've looked into all that stuff. Legally, you're not required to carry any liability insurance. It's just a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
Deej,
know
there's a lot.
not-
Later, Mary.
When I was doing landscaping work, I was required to carry $2 million worth of insurance. Does that make sense?
That's
Well,
That's-
actually, it was 1 million. It depended on the company I did for, like PG&E places like that required you to have 2 million. Excuse me.
yeah. We have a 2-story building in town, a historic Harvey House, and they needed a roof done on it, and our local roofing company bid it out and took it to the city council or whatever, and they turned him down because he didn't carry a minimum of $2 million liability.
Mhm.
And they accepted a bid from another company that was like 3 times higher. It was like a $200 or $125,000 roof. And he goes up in front of the city council. He says, it's not a $125,000 roof. That's a $30,000 roof. He says, I don't understand why you guys can't keep business local and pay it to the people in town. And I'm sure he was making a healthy chunk of change on that. We're not going to glance over that fact.
Yeah.
But they turned him down just because he didn't have a $2 million insurance. Why he didn't bid twice as much and get a $2 million bond real quick, I don't know. Apparently it wasn't an option. But they paid 3 times as much to a company out of town to come put a roof on it.
Yep.
Just because he didn't have high enough insurance for them.
Insurance. Yeah. Jason,
Much
I saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to reverse and leaving the scene.
sounds very Canadian of you.
Well, only if he was apologizing all the way while he's backing up.
Well, of course he was. He's Canadian. Yeah, I mean it's all.
No
It's all
disrespecting, not because somebody else had their hand in the pot. A lot of places require you to carry so much insurance, or they just can't hire you. It's part of their rules. They just won't do it.
it can go either way. You don't know what
Yeah.
kickbacks were coming from where and
Yeah,
how many. You know, they got to deal with this dude's brother-in-law. That's they're going to get a couple $1,000s or whatever, and they're going to do that.
but I mean, a lot of the places I went to, they let you know up front that you've got to carry this, or don't even bother to bid. So
Yeah,
okay,
it could have been one of those. But I mean, you can. I looked it up real quick. The local business owner, he could have bought $2 million insurance relatively quickly. No, you can buy a higher. It might have been 2, it might have been 10, I don't know. But you can buy a higher insurance premium for that job, just for that job, but it costs you money, obviously.
Yeah.
More than likely, and this is why he's a small town contractor, his cheapness and knowing that he could do it safe and just fine overtook the fact that he should have just bought the insurance and doubled his bid and made even more money. But that's how small town people are. Why am I going to pay for $10 million insurance that I don't need for one job? Well, in modern America, you need to pay for that so you can charge more. If that $10 million insurance for one job costs you 10 grand, tack 20 or 30 on the job. Now you make money on that too. Hello, Riddles.
oh yeah, that's like I know a guy in the Bay Area. He has a concrete company, and he does a lot of work for the city of not Sandy. What the hell's the name? It's right outside of Frisco. Anyways, he charges an exorbitant fee, but he's got a contract. And he goes, every 6 months, I got to go and rip out the concrete that I put in, because that's the rule there for whatever they do at the city at these places, and put down fresh concrete. And he goes, an exorbitant fee. He goes, but I've got to carry, $3 million worth of insurance. I got to do this, this, and this. He goes, but they put out the money because they don't care.
Yeah, E-Diver, everyone must have insurance in California, and insurance policies are ridiculous. And then I just reshopped all my insurances because I was putting a teen on, and They're nuts.
Oh,
But I mean, a lot of these places didn't even want to give me a quote. They're like, "Oh, we'll give us all the information and we'll give you an estimate in 2 weeks." What the hell do you mean 2 weeks? It's auto insurance. I want a quote. How much are you going to charge me?
yeah. Well, it's like I was talking to Marty nuts about digging. He lives up there in Canada, like Jason, and we were talking about how high priced it is for full coverage auto insurance here in the States. And he goes, I pay like $60 every 6 months for full coverage. We went, what? That's full coverage. He goes, yeah. Apparently, Canada has pretty cheap auto insurance.
Hold on, let me see. I just figured out how much I pay a week for auto insurance. What a bunch of crap.
Way too much, huh?
Yeah. And I got the cheapest price I could get. I don't have super good insurance for autos. I only have full coverage on one car. Everything else is crap.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. If it was paid for, I'd just buy the minimum. And help
Pretty much,
whoever hit me.
They want to know. They want to know your credit score.
Yep.
How cold's it going to be there for you tomorrow, Bill?
Tomorrow, I think it's supposed to be like 45 or 47. Let me look again, make sure. It could have changed. It changes all the time. Let's see.
Rob, I just found
tomorrow,
the
high of 45 with a low of 29. So.
Rob, I just go on eBay and look up Peter Pan peanut butter plastic mug. There's vintage 1983 Peter Pan mugs.
Here's one of my favorite cups. I like the Minions. Yeah.
See, I always notice it in your show, but on your back shelf over there, you have a twin to my coffee cup.
Yeah.
I like this cup so much. When this one starts dying for whatever reason, I have to go on the internet and relocate who still sells this antiquated cup.
Amazon. I got mine for $8.
Amazon. I get a year or two out of mine, and then they start going.
But I'll tell you right now, they're not as good as they used to be because it will not keep hot stuff hot very long or cold stuff cold very long. Not like the older ones did.
No.
But they last a long time and they're cheap.
I've lost more than I've broke. I almost lost it. I almost lost this one the other night. I left it sitting at the parts store. Luckily, I remembered halfway home. And the driver was still there, and I was able to go back, and it was in the original spot. If it had been left for an hour or overnight or something, I wouldn't have trusted it.
Yeah. No,
Nothing
not in California.
Finders keepers. I've played with an old I forget what it is. One of my gold friends gave me an older metal detector, a gold bug 2, I think. No VDIs, nothing like that. I played with that in my front yard. It's fun or interesting, but at my stage in life with the kids I don't have the time to go spend alone detecting. If I was going to do that, then everybody would have to go, and I can't focus on that unless I had more of them, and that's just not what I'm into. I'm more into the exploring. Hello, Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda.
So yeah, my
From
my
Canada.
metal detector time could be measured in minutes. Apparently, when they built my home, they didn't worry about nails or what happened to them. My yard is filled with nails.
Oh, yeah. California contractors are real bad about that. Same here in Tennessee. You go out there, I ran the detector in the yard. I had just freaking nails and screws everywhere. Everywhere.
I was talking with a guy. My house was built in '56. It's an old house. I was talking with a guy who was old enough to build these houses, not this particular track of them, but a little bit newer one in the '60s. And he says, "Oh no," he says, "when they built your track, they didn't require this, 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 and this. It was a little easier for the contract." He says, "In the '60s, when I was working for him, we would build the house and we would insulate it, and the inspector would come by and inspect off on the insulation, and we'd pull all the insulation out of it and then put the walls on." And he says we'd use the insulation for the next house.
That sounds about right.
He was telling me the blocks that on the houses they did that on. He says, "Oh man, it was crazy."
No, because I did a short stint one summer working for a contractor, and that's when I realized, one, I don't want to buy a house for one of these guys that I know, and just wasn't for me. But we had these two houses at one of these gated communities. They looked identical on the outside. The guy started running out of money. So the house on the left, they both had these nice brick entryways, right? Well, the one on the left was real brick. The one on the right was plastic. Stuff like that. So the second house got all the corners cut, while the first house was built pretty nice. But they both sold for the same price.
My brother has a house like that. His house was built in the '90s by the guy who lived next door to him when he moved in. And what the guy did when he bought like 2 or 3 acres, I forget how many. And he built his house, and then he subdivided the parcels, and he built my brother's house and sold it. So the guy next to him's house is on, my brother's still on a full acre, but the guy next to him's house is pretty nice, and you know, it looks really good, lots of concrete work and all that. And you go in my brother's house and it's nice, but you can tell there wasn't a lot of money spent on it. It was a lot of design.
Yeah.
Hey, Rhonda, I resent that remark. I do believe I know drywall. Spackle 10 times and sand 11. But yeah, my brother's house is just like that. You can tell that it was the lower budget build of the two.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd go around back home, look at the house for sale, walk in, start looking, oh, this house is 20 years old. And you can see where the cracks are starting and stuff's falling apart. It's like, see you later. That's only 20 years old already. You know, dying.
My brother's is 30 years old, I guess now. And you know, you're needing to patch the tile roof. Nothing, the tiles never go bad, but the construction was so shoddy, you know, the movement, the tile roofs need patch. He's got a fireplace, and he says he's tried his ass off to heat the house with the fireplace. Tried everything he could, and then he got a real contractor in there one day who was telling him, they're like, "Oh no, that's a zero clearance fireplace. Don't try to heat your house with that. This one, it'll never work." 2, California code, they have these zero clearance fireplaces. It's basically just an insert that goes in there, and it's right up against the 2x4s of the wall. There is no brick. So It's got a little bit of a brick fascia, and then it's basically just sandwiched into the wall with a little wool insulation or whatever won't burn.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's purely aesthetics. There's no heat coming from it.
Well, it's like when I was doing landscaping and tree work, I'd sell firewood, and I sold this lady some firewood. She had a really nice house. She calls me back. She goes, "Can you come and take a look at my stove?" I go, "Why?" She goes, "The house is filling with smoke." So I go, "Here's this really nice looking wood stove." So, I get up in the attic and I look over, and the stovepipe went up into the attic, and from there into the roof, there was no pipe. They had the exhaust pipe on the roof, the exhaust pipe going into the ceiling, and nothing in between. I said, yeah, you're not using this. I got that takes a 3-walled pipe that goes there, and that's expensive. I'll buy the wood back from you. Just use your gas. I couldn't believe they did that, Brand new house. And missing the most important piece of pipe on it for the wood stove. Wow.
I watched
What can you do?
I watched some shorts from some home inspectors on YouTube, and they're just shorts, and they're new home inspectors or whatever, and they're going through some of these houses, pointing out some of the faults or failures in them, and they're like, yeah, pay for an inspection, even if it's a brand new home, pay for an inspection. They're like, this passed code, and they said the entire second floor is held up by 1 2x4.
Yeah.
Or the entire floor above the basement, they're like, is held up by 1 2x4, and they pointed out, and then I'm going to get the words all wrong. Contractors don't kill me. They're like, here's a king stud going into, a rafter or whatever it is from that story, and you're in the story below, and that rafter, and they show you in the plans that stud's supposed to go all the way down to the ground, but it's held up by 1 2x4 that's offset. And they're like, you need to call the builder back and fix this. That's not right.
Holy shit, Jim! You changed careers. Wow.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, when I first met Jim, he used to put pictures up of his drywall work all the time.
Yeah. Ask him how much he's making traffic control. You'd be freaking amazed.
Well, if he's
Come on,
making
Jim,
more than
tell us.
drywall, then good for him.
Oh, it pays probably way more than drywall did.
Good for you, Jim.
If I do it fairly often, my drywall only looks like crap. Oh, he said traffic control. I was thinking he was one of the guys standing in the streets with a car or with a whistle, pointing at cars.
Yeah, I don't think that's traffic control is making any money.
You never said air traffic control. Oh. I'll be back in just a second.
If I remember if he said something was something in the one stream he was talking, it's like $56 an hour or something.
Well, Tom, I'm sick as a dog, and when I went and picked Zeus up, I pulled something in my back, Bill.
Oh, damn, Rob.
I'm in so much freaking pain right now. It's not even funny. I don't know what I did, but I pulled something when I picked Zeus up. I can't even get comfortable. It's gonna be off to the chiropractor.
Sorry, Rob.
I know. I think when Zach comes back, Bill, I'm gonna log off because I'll be listening to the stream. I'm just gonna log off, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be heading off as soon as he gets back. Anyways, it's almost 10. 45 an hour for holding the stop slow sign. That's not bad. $45 an hour.
What?
That's what Jim's making. 45 an hour for standing there holding it. That's like $20 an hour more than they make here, Jim. Yeti Mountain Trading. Hello. Yeah, can you
Good for
imagine
you,
that, Rob?
Good for you, Jim. Hey, Yeti Mountain.
Yeah, good for you, Jim.
Yeah, Rhonda, they are all over. I don't know how young people can afford a house nowadays.
Oh, it's freaking ridiculous. Yeah, DG is cooking in the sun, but when you're working in the house putting up drywall, you're cooking inside because the place is opened up. And if it's hot, it's hot. And you're lifting that heavy freaking drywall. Cheers, Yeti Mountain. Dang.
Nice, Jim. Good for you, buddy. I'm really happy for you, Jim. I really am.
He gets paid double time for working in the rain or hot weather. Nice. $90 an hour if it's hot or raining. That is sweet. You just see going into the unemployment office going, hey, I only worked 20 hours this week. Could I get my unemployment for the other 20? Oh, dang. You okay, Rob? Oops.
Yeah, Bill, I'm going to call tonight.
Okay, Rob. As soon as Zach gets back, I'm going to call it night.
Yeah, I'll see you in Zoom on Wednesday.
Okay. See you tomorrow, Rob. Take care. Well, people, as soon as Zach gets back, or maybe before if he doesn't get back here pretty quick, I'm out of here. It's late. I got things to do tomorrow. So, but, so John, you're going to get out here pretty soon and do some detecting. We'll see a video from you. I haven't put one out in a while. Yeah, we're all getting tired. It's late. Good night, Odd Diver. Come on, Zaxton, get back here. I don't want to leave you hanging. Ugh. Good night, everybody. I'm going to end the stream.